Entity 1, the humans. Entity 1 ID 1. Habitats, cosmopolitan. Class, anthropoid. Properties, civilized. Description: Homo sapiens, also known as humans, are a species of intelligent, nearly hairless bipedal apes that are among the most widespread and influential sapient life form. They're distinguished by their high problem-solving capabilities, rapid learning rate, and highly social lifestyle. Humans display a natural drive for learning, which has encouraged development of technologies, sciences, religions, and cultures within human social structures. Due to originating in a separate universe, they were mostly uncontested by any harsh threats, and built a unique and thriving populace in the reality they called home. Ever since humans, and even their early ancestors, first began existing in the front rooms, a great number of them have crossed realities by complete accident. This resulted in human beings settling within the backrooms and building civilizations to survive the harsh environment and native fauna. One of the most densely human-populated levels in current times is level 11, which closely resembles an environment associated with the human's original reality, a city. Ancient humans settled in a number of locations, many choosing to stay in the ones they no-clipped into, or anywhere directly connected to them. Using their capabilities listed, they were able to surpass great adversaries and settle in otherwise dangerous places. Some settlements date back a millennia ago, while others are far more recent, and stick out even among urban realities as a sign of their ability to survive. Despite the harsh environment they now lived in, humans have unknowingly inflicted a variety of damages to its landscape. The requirement for food in large settlements has resulted in the damage of much flora and fauna, and their aggression to most entities native to the backrooms has dwindled their populations. Upkeep of their settlements requires constant gathering of precious, sometimes rare materials, which have only become rarer with human interference. Because of this induced scarcity, humans spread farther, taking more materials and repeating the process almost infinitely. In a way, this would mean that human beings are comparable to invading pests, and yet they cannot receive blame, as they merely wish to continue thriving and surviving in a harsh environment, while the local wildlife and environment tries to do the same. Although indirectly, the large-scale presence of humans has led to the creation of multiple entities that resemble them in appearance, mannerisms, and biology. Some are near-perfect replicas, such as facelings, while others, like hounds, are more liberal interpretations of the human body. Human-like entities have existed seemingly as long as humans themselves, and some even evolving to be as similar as possible throughout centuries. While mainly a fault of humans in their original universe, their impact has caused the Backrooms to mimic several things built by them in its evolution of levels. This effect has had an influence which has existed for thousands of years, and seemingly will continue indefinitely, drastically reshaping the course of the future. One positive shaping of history is the humans' ability to communicate information to each other in order to survive, something which led to the creation of this very database. It's a tool that contains documentation of anomalous species, objects, events, locations, people, and a plethora of unique stories and experiences. It's one of the biggest archives of documentation left by human beings, vested only by the advent of the internet in their homeworld. It is a permanent mark of their existence that has been and will be utilized for as long as humans thrive themselves. Psychology. Humans all share unique behaviors and personalities, but many have common thought processes that link them. A great majority of humans have highly sociable mannerisms, a desire to seek out the unknown, and the need to populate uninhabited, potentially dangerous locations. This method of thinking, whilst no doubt effective in maintaining the population and guaranteeing its expansion, has quite irreversibly altered the backrooms in the ways already listed. Their need to seek knowledge and live in hazardous areas also causes significant casualties, but has guaranteed the future of the species thanks to rigorous documentation, which is used, often thanklessly, by the people who come after. From this research, they have built all sorts of towns, cities, bases, communities, and outposts, all of which are operated by groups of various intentions. Though information about human occupation before the modern database is scarce, the information that is known shows that they operated much like modern ones we have today. Despite their ability to cooperate, they can be deeply aggressive towards one another in certain situations or rivalry or disagreement. It often leads to conflicts and casualties that set back progresses or alliances, which makes human beings extremely unpredictable to the eyes of others. Habitats and population. Throughout the centuries, humans have repeatedly made specific choices in where their settlements, usually they greatly prefer places that resemble areas in the front rooms, whether it be a location's geography, its similarities to real places, or places where they can easily gather or grow resources. Whilst they mostly favor settling in places with little to no dangerous entities, or places with solely civilized entities, many humans sometimes occupy the same spaces as hostile threats, while sometimes inadvertently. Some also do it by conscious choice, usually for a chance at protection or as a last-ditch effort to survive. This, however, usually backfires. By far the most important factor of choice, however, is the structure of time inside of a location. Humans prefer those that follow the typical circadian rhythm, usually in the form of a day or night cycle or a close emulation. However, when a level lacks said passage of time, they tend to opt for levels that always have daylight, both for easy visibility and protection of their mental health. If a place has no daylight but still has a plethora of materials, humans may opt to use their own created light sources, which is something they've been doing for generations. Some of the most populated locations are Level 4, Level 11, Level 29, Level 186, and Level 737, which have populations deep in the thousands. By many, these locations are regarded as main hubs and the main places to live in the Backrooms. As with all human achievements, each of these locations have been terraformed and adapted in different ways to achieve their large population, disrupting flora and fauna to do so. The same can also be said for fallen civilizations, such as Level 22's Amstable and Level 51's Hufstad, who both did the same. The only difference being that these groups have overexpanded and reached the end of their cycles. History cycles. While not a phenomena exclusive to human backrooms communities, there's been a pattern followed by most major communities and groups that have been built by humans throughout all of history. Each group, in varying spaces of time, follows a similar cycle of events from their inception, which inevitably leads to their downfall. Groups, especially many older ones, form under a specific small leadership with a fairly rigid set of goals and morals. Gradually, however, these groups expand. They gather more people, expand their physical and technological reaches further, till the group becomes a haphazard imitation of what it once was. Usually, as has been recorded in both ancient times and the modern day, this results in a schism of the group that causes it to split and become not what it once was, or in rare cases even causing them to cease existing entirely. Most, if not all, groups fall into this cycle, and a group that reaches the end of its lifespan will inevitably be replaced by the one that's just begun. As is often the case, people from previous groups migrate to new ones, sharing the previous downfalls as to extend the lifespan of the new, younger group. However, for as effective at survival as humans are, they possess one fatal flaw. Despite their keen passion and adaptability to mold and shape the Backrooms, none of what they ever do is permanent. Every civilization, no matter how grand or long-lasting it is, inevitably crumbles and falls. Often, other humans simply take the place of their extinct predecessor, but in all cases the Backrooms eventually comes out victorious. Its native entities and laws of physics outlive and outperform all human actions, no matter how great any one civilization is at the height of its power. Humans are just a speck, one entity out of over 1,000, and their grand achievements do nothing to change that. The combined forces of its other creatures' natural effects and rapidly evolving landscapes not only outdo, but eventually eliminate humanity and its footprint as a whole. Hypothetically speaking, the latter two effects could wipe out all its creatures, and its natural effects could cause all levels to eventually pass away the same as humans. However, while this itself is uncertain, it's known that humans, rather morbidly, will be the first to go. Humans are just a chapter in the history of the Backrooms.